Welcome to this video that is very unique and unlike other videos I have done. This video is just acknowledging the fact that I have had a YouTube channel for 2 years now. Late June would mark 2 years that I have had shuffle mode and started posting videos on YouTube, which is insane that it has been 2 years, but it got me thinking about just the enormous amount of music I have listened to in the past 2 years, and also how my music preferences when I'm not filming have shifted some in the past 2 years. And I get questions or comments kind of asking, you're listening to all of this music now, and there's so many popular things you are discovering. What did you listen to before YouTube? And that's a very fair question. So this video, I'm gonna basically just give a little preface of where I was at pre-YouTube and where I'm at now. As in, I still listen to all of the things I listened to prior to starting my YouTube channel. I've just incorporated so much more music now. So I kind of just want to give a brief rundown of the past 2 years. What albums have I been loving the most, and what artists from various genres have been high on repeat ever since I have discovered them. The whole point of me starting shuffle mode in the first place was I was hitting a music rut, but I didn't know how to expand. I didn't know where to start because it all felt very overwhelming. I just knew that I needed more variety in my life. So I want to thank you all because your suggestions have led me to where I am now. So first, just background. Before shuffle mode, what was I listening to the most? And the easiest way to summarize it is so much Elton John. Elton John is and always will be my favorite musician ever. But not just Elton John. I threw in another major piano player, Billy Joel. Listen to a lot of Billy Joel. And in general, a lot of music from the 70s. David Bowie, Queen, Aerosmith, going back a little bit further, the Beatles. I listened to a lot of that type of music, but then more present day music that I was listening to, all the boy bands, loved all the boy bands, loved One Direction, really was drawn to Harry Styles, solo music, John Mayer. John Mayer was definitely and still is one of my most played musicians and artists I have listened to and have seen in concert. And then some more pop driven music. I definitely was listening to Demi Lovato, loved Lady Gaga forever, huge Bruno Mars fan, loved me some Jonas Brothers, old and new Jonas Brothers, and also a little bit of a different direction. I did also listen to a lot of Michael Jackson, and I listened to a lot of Prince as well. So basically just a lot of oldies and more present day mainstream pop. And obviously those are just artists that I was digging into catalogs more, but there were so many other musicians that I was listening to. I mean, Ellie Goulding, Ben Folds, just Hanson. Oh my gosh, I love Hanson. And then hip hop wise, really the only hip hop artist I was listening to was Kanye West. And even then, I kind of stopped after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Watch the Throne era. So in comes YouTube channel, and so much has changed in the last 2 years. I am breaking this down by calling it my biggest plays. So these are going to be my biggest plays, and I'm going to try and do it by genre loosely because 2 years of music, there's a lot to go through, so I'm going to miss some names. These are just my big, heavy hitters for certain genres. So up first, let's talk about hip hop. I have expanded my hip hop music catalog so much thanks to YouTube and all of the recommendations. And I think the most noticeable and most impactful musician that I have really just dove into his music is definitely Kendrick Lamar. I love Kendrick Lamar's music so much. I feel like he deserves all of the recognition. He's incredibly talented, and I find album-wise as a whole, the two albums I have been listening to the most by him probably are Good Kid, Mad City and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. So I listen to all the albums though. I've got a lot of songs from Damn. I've got a lot of songs from To Pimp a Butterfly. I just can't get over how great of a musician he is. And so he is by far one of my top 4 definitely most played artists overall since starting YouTube. And then the other 2 really big names where I find myself listening to many of their songs since listening to multiple albums is definitely Mac Miller and Tyler, the Creator. I am so disappointed in myself that it took me this long to listen to some of Mac Miller's later albums, because I really only knew him from his very earlier work, which is so different from his later work that he had. And I love the vibe that came from Mac Miller's later albums. It just was so cool and very artistic and beautiful. Like, it just felt like very beautiful hip hop music. And then Tyler, the Creator, is who I turn to if I am in the mood for some chaos. Pure chaos comes from his music in the absolute best way. And I don't think it's for everyone, but it's definitely for a lot of people, or else he wouldn't be so popular. 2 other musicians in hip hop that I find myself listening to some of their songs, maybe not to the same degree that I am drawn to the first 3, would definitely be some Drake and some J. Cole. I mean, these are all huge, massive names. My hip hop horizons have been broadened so much, and there is still so much I haven't discovered. So that's been massive for me over the past 2 years, and I am so thrilled with everything I have listened to. Now let's talk about R&B, because R&B was really a genre where I had like nothing other than some more R&B inspired Michael Jackson music that I was listening to prior to Shuffle Mode. And I got to get the big one out of the way. I am obsessed with Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean's albums, Blonde and Channel Orange, even his visual album on Apple Music. I love all of it. Those albums are perfect. Both. I can't pick one. There are different reasons why I love Blonde and different reasons why I love Channel Orange. Fully discovering Frank Ocean because of YouTube has been wonderful, and I just adore his music so much. And then another couple artists that I have been going to more from the R&B genre, definitely SZA. I love her Control album. I want to listen to more by her. Solange, finally listening to Solange's album. Oh, I cannot remember the title of it right now, but I will include a picture here. I listened to a lot of tracks from that album. And then Giveon has a new album coming out soon, and I'm very excited. I think his voice is incredible. I am so excited to see where his career is going to go. And it's just someone that I'm very happy was directed to me from YouTube. And then finally for R&B, I want to talk about Childish Gambino, because this is actually one of my favorite albums ever, and that is Awaken My Love. That has got to be one of my favorite albums I have discovered from YouTube, period. I think it's wonderful. And I know that normally in other albums, you would not consider him R&B, but I do kind of consider this one more like loosely R&B soul, kind of in that category. It's a genre blend. I just didn't know where to place him because his music is all over the place genre wise. So I just want to include here Awaken My Love, incredible. And then finally The Weeknd. The Weeknd's a little R&B, a little bit pop. It depends on the era, but he has been so like pivotal in my YouTube experience so far. And the 2 albums by him that recently I have been listening to most it's kind of like the beginning and the end. I listen to Trilogy a lot still, which is so dark and gritty, but then I cannot get enough of Dawn FM, which is definitely a bit more pop, but I just think it is so well curated. I really love that album. And just in general, my appreciation for The Weeknd as a vocalist, a lyricist, everything has just skyrocketed through getting to know his music more, thanks to YouTube. Now let's talk about my biggest pop plays. And once again, I feel like that pop was something that I knew the big names and the big names only, but I wanted to explore more. Now, I say that, but the first artist I'm bringing up is probably one of the absolute biggest names in the world, and I completely neglected them until 2020, and that is BTS. I listen to so much BTS now. Like, it's not even funny. I have a playlist of BTS songs, and it is like well over 100 songs at this point. They are wonderful genre blenders, and I am so excited for their solo albums to come out. I just love what each member brings to the group, and my appreciation for their, first of all, their dedication to remaining as a group this long. But secondly, I just feel like they let everyone contribute in their own way. Like, it doesn't feel like a competition between the members, and I appreciate that. And then speaking of BTS, that kind of did make me trickle into the world of K-pop more, which I don't think I would have ever done if it wasn't for YouTube. And there are a handful of songs from some various groups that I listen to now on my own. Songs from Tomorrow by Together, Red Velvet, Mamamoo, and Twice. I love a good Twice moment. They're so cute. So yeah, K-pop in general is something that I have definitely opened my ears and eyes to, thanks to YouTube. One of the biggest pop albums and pop artists that I discovered on YouTube that I have been obsessed with ever since is Rina Sawayama, and I absolutely love her album Sawayama so much. It's just wonderful pop. It gives me some vibe of like early 2K pop combined with present day, combined with some rock. Like, it's just wonderful music, and I am so excited for her next album. And then finally, I always knew Billie Eilish, but YouTube has made me become such a big fan. Listening to Happier Than Ever, I really enjoy that album. Like, I enjoyed her first album, I listened to it, but Happier Than Ever just felt so right to me in so many levels. And that's definitely been one of my standout albums that I have fully appreciated. And I don't think I would have thought to listen to it as soon as I did if it wasn't for the channel. Now, my last category, let's talk about rock and alternative that's been brought to my attention more. First up, we're going to talk about Tame Impala. I think Tame Impala don't miss. I really think that the music that I have heard from Tame Impala has been so wonderful and dreamy and just psychedelic, and I love it. And I love when they go a little bit more retro rock, and I also love when it's a bit more electronic. I just think that it's very much so atmospheric music, and I enjoy Tame Impala anytime I hear it come up on a playlist, or if I hear it out in public. It's really left a mark on me. This is a newer one. I just posted this video, but listening to The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance has got me going in on a My Chemical Romance dive right now. And I always knew that I liked a couple of their songs, but just hearing that full album from start to finish, it now has a very special place lodged in my heart, and I'm very excited to hopefully listen to more My Chemical Romance for YouTube as well. Here's an album, an artist that I did not know of at all. And then when I listened to the album, I was just like, incredible. And that is Mitski, Laurel Hell. I love that album so incredibly much, and I can promise you, if it wasn't for recommendations on YouTube and just generally seeing the name pop up more on the internet, I don't know if I would have ever listened to that album by Mitski, and I am so glad I did, and it kind of gives me like alternative carnival 80s vibes. in the best way. And I listen to that full album consistently. It's one of my— And then lastly, YouTube really encouraged me to give this band a listen, and now I love them so much, and that is Måneskin. I have listened to their solo album, not for YouTube. I've done a few reaction videos, like discovering them, and I think they are keeping rock alive. They are keeping like the gritty, dirty, hardcore rock and roll alive for the younger generations. And I love that. I think we need that. And hearing the Italian language sang in rock style music is absolutely gorgeous. So that's my video right there. I really just wanted to look at certain genres and reflect on what's had like a huge impact on me and what I've listened to over the past 5 years. And I just wanted to make this to create kind of like a check-in for myself, to reflect on how much music I have consumed these last 2 years. And that was literally my whole goal in creating this channel in the first place, was like I was in a music rut and I didn't know where to turn. And it's been really great, honestly. It's been so fun. And I am very curious to see what's going to come in another year, you know? Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see for year 3 on Shuffle Mode. Are there artists I haven't covered yet? Are there albums I haven't covered yet? Are there video ideas that you think would be cool? I really do drive my channel off of a combination of what I want to do and what the people want me to do. So please let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. That would mean so much. And thank you so much for watching my video, especially if you made it until the very end. And until my next video, bye.